I met Bruce in the winter of 1969, in a warehouse south of Market Street in San Francisco. I was 23, working as a stagehand for a film crew that had hired him for fight choreography. What I saw there, I've kept to myself for over 50 years. But I'm 78 now, and some things need to be said before they disappear entirely. The warehouse was supposed to be empty after 8. Bruce told the production manager he needed the space for personal training. He paid out of his own pocket for the extra hours. I was supposed to lock up, but I stayed. I can't explain why. Curiosity, maybe. Or something else. He arrived at 9:30 with 2 other men. I didn't recognize them. They were older, Chinese, dressed in plain dark clothes. They didn't speak. Bruce acknowledged me with a look that wasn't quite surprise, more like resignation. He didn't ask me to leave. That should have been my first warning. They cleared the center of the floor and placed 7 white candles in a pattern. I didn't understand. Not a circle. More like the points of a compass with one in the center. Bruce stripped to the waist. The older men began to chant, low and rhythmic, not in Cantonese or Mandarin. I'd heard both languages on the docks. This was something older. For 20 minutes, Bruce moved through forms I'd never seen. His body moved like water, but there was something wrong about it. The shadows didn't quite follow his movements. They lagged, just a fraction of a second, like a film reel slightly out of sync. I thought it was the candlelight playing tricks. Then one of the men produced a wooden box, small enough to fit in 2 hands. Inside was a bundle wrapped in red silk. When they unwrapped it, I saw a knife. Not ceremonial. It looked used, practical, the handle worn smooth from decades of grip. Bruce took the knife and cut his left palm, deep. I saw the blood well up, black in the candlelight. He let it drip onto the concrete floor while he spoke. Also in that language I didn't know. His voice was different, deeper, strained, like the words cost him something physical to produce. The air in that warehouse changed. I felt pressure in my ears, the way you do before a thunderstorm. The candle flames bent horizontal, all pointing toward Bruce, though there was no wind. I was pressed against the far wall, trying to stay invisible. One of the older men handed Bruce a small clay cup. He drank whatever was inside in one swallow, then dropped to his knees. His body seized. Not a seizure exactly, but something controlled, purposeful. Every muscle locked and released in waves, starting from his core and radiating outward. It lasted maybe 3 minutes. It felt like an hour. When he stood up, he was different. I can't describe it better than that. Same face, same body, but something behind his eyes had shifted. He looked at his hands like he was seeing them for the first time. He moved his fingers, testing them. Then he punched the concrete support beam 4 feet from where I was hiding. I heard the crack. Not his hand. The concrete! A spiderweb fracture spread from the impact point. Bruce didn't react. Didn't shake out his hand or show any pain. He just stared at the damage with an expression I can only call loss. The older men packed up the candles and the knife. Before they left, one of them put his hand on Bruce's shoulder and spoke to him in English. The only English I heard all night. He said, "The price is always higher than you think." Remember that? Bruce nodded. They left. He stayed in that warehouse until almost 3 in the morning, sitting cross-legged in the center of where the candles had been, perfectly still. I never told anyone. Not the crew, not my wife, not my children. Bruce never acknowledged that I'd been there. We worked together for another 2 weeks, professional, distant. On the last day, as I was leaving, he stopped me at the door. He didn't look at me. He said, "Some doors, once you open them, you can't close. You understand?" I nodded. I didn't understand then. I do now. 4 years later, Bruce Lee was dead at 32. Cerebral edema, they said. Swelling of the brain from a reaction to painkillers. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's the whole truth. But I remember that night in the warehouse. I remember the sound of concrete cracking. I remember the look in his eyes. And I remember thinking that some kinds of power aren't meant for human bodies to hold.